I remember when I was a kid, we would shop at Kmart and Walmart, and the clothes that I wanted, my mom would put it on layaway because we didn't have money growing up. And I have those memories, and I remember not getting those things, but I think I overcompensate now where I want to give my kids everything.
On this week's True Talk, we have Mallory Kroos. Mallory is in the top 200 all-time with FFL. Mallory has sold $1.1 million in life premium since joining Family First Life in 2022. Last year, Mallory joined the Hall of Fame at 424,000 sold personally. She has sold 523,000 in premium and is on track to finish the year over 700,000 sold.
And he's like, all from home, in your underwear. He's like, if anyone here is making less than $10,000 a month, you're not living. And I'm like, he's right. I'm not living. I'm not living. I'm ready to live. When I kiss him goodbye, he'll say, hey, Mom, I hope you make 4 sales today. Usually it's 4. And I'm like, all right, maybe I can do that. I think I can do that. Showing them that if you don't like the situation in life, well, you're in the United States of America. There's tons of opportunity.
Right.
Pick one, go hard, and change things.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Well, thanks for coming up today. Coming up from Dallas area. It's a little cold up here.
It is. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Your background, now you've been with us now since 2022, right? Your background was in sales, is that true?
Yes. So I have worked in sales for a long time before I found insurance.
Yeah.
COVID happened. I closed my little franchise, took some time to be with my daughter who was tiny. Yeah. And then took a little break from working and knew I had to get into something, and that's when I found insurance.
Got it. How'd you originally get into sales?
So I had gotten my degree, went and worked for I did a little marketing job at a local company and realized that you don't make a lot of money in, what I was doing. It was like a little marketing job. And so one of my friends said, hey, you should get into sales. Come move to Dallas. My company's hiring. And I said, well, I've never sold anything before. And she's like, that's okay. So I moved to Dallas from Louisiana, got my first sales job, and I was hooked.
Got it. Because you just up and left?
Yeah, I was ready. Yeah.
And you're from Louisiana originally?
I'm from Louisiana.
Grew up there. You went to school there?
I went to school there, did everything there, and I was done. I was like, okay, I see where this is going to go if I stay here. And I was ready for, the big city. Yeah. And my friend was in Dallas, and she was like, come on. And I packed up I drove a Toyota Yaris. Wow. For those that know that, it's a tiny car. I stuck all my stuff in it. And I drove to Dallas and started a job at Paychecks, which is an HR company. I met my husband there. Yeah. And I started doing sales. And I was like, wow, you can make a lot of money. And what I liked about it was the more you worked, the more money you made. Right. And so being self-driven, I hated being capped with my income. Like, wait, so even if I come early, even if I do a really good job, the most I'll ever get is like a 3% raise at the end of the year. And maybe like $1,000 bonus. That's BS. Right. And so sales was right for me.
Got it. What did you study in school? What was your degree in?
I studied journalism. At the time, I loved to write. I studied journalism, loved it. And then my parents pressured me. I should say my mom pressured me to get an advanced degree because from her generation, getting a degree meant success. Right. So I was like, all right, I'll get it. So I was trying to decide, and I got a MBA, a Master's of Business Administration. Okay. And
how many years did you spend in college total?
6.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 years.
Well, while you were in the school studying for journalism, what was your goal? What did you want to do with that degree?
I loved interviewing people. Yeah. I loved talking to people. I loved getting the story. I loved talking with people about a lot of different topics. And I really just loved writing. Yeah. But then you get in the real world, and it's not really about what you love to do. Right. It's how are you going to, survive in this world and make money. And the lifestyle I wanted, journalism was not going to provide. So
Got it. Yeah. So you up and leave. What year was that when you moved to Dallas?
2011.
2011.
Fall of about this time, 2011.
Got it. And sales job, you said Paychecks is what it was called? Yeah,
Paychecks. So I was meeting with companies that were larger than 50 people, and I was selling them payroll. I didn't know anything about payroll. I still don't know anything about payroll. I didn't know
always
what.
hang up on those people. I get calls all the time.
Yeah.
Like, do you need, like, I need nothing. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I was one of those people.
Okay.
I didn't know what I was doing, but it was the next best thing. And the people that I worked with were great. Like I said, I met my husband there. And so.
He was in sales too?
No, he was in a different department.
Okay.
And he kept asking me out, and I'm like, I don't want to be the new girl that like dates the manager right off the bat. But he kept asking me, and he was a nice guy. So eventually we started dating. We've been together ever since. But yeah, so I can't remember what you're asking.
Well, how long were you at Paychex for?
So I was there for 1.5 years.
Got it. Make any money there or no?
I did. I made a good amount. I made more than what I was making in marketing. I think I doubled what I made there. So I'm like, all right, sales for me. I left there, and then I think the next job I got was either the next job or the job after was with Amazon Local. Okay. So when I got hired for Amazon, I mean, I thought, oh my gosh, I've made it. I work for Amazon. And I started doing it was basically like Amazon's version of Groupon. Okay. So that's when I first started doing phone sales, and I would call people and literally from Dallas in Illinois, and I would convince them to do like a short-term deal. Like maybe it was like a car wash or a nail place or a massage studio or whatever. Do like a deal for a week. Yeah. And then I would get like a bonus off of. And I was good at it, and I loved selling over the phone. So that's kind of where that started.
So when you were at Paychex, you weren't over the phone?
Well, you would call people and then set appointments, and then you would meet with them. So you had to go out and meet with them. We were driving around all the time. Yeah. We were driving all over Dallas, yes.
Got it. So this you're doing from your house?
No, I was doing it from the office.
From the office.
I was at the office working in like, we didn't even have cubicles. We just had desks next to each other.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun because I was in my early 20s, so you're very social at that point in your life. But the thing about working at Amazon is everybody thinks that they're like one step from Jeff Bezos. Right. Everyone's like, oh, I'm going to be Jeff Bezos' favorite person. Yeah. I'm going to get it. You know, everybody was trying to.
He doesn't even know who you are. Relax.
Exactly. And I wasn't like that. I wanted to make a lot of money, but I just felt like it was very cutthroat there because everybody felt like this is my chance. Right. So, but it was a good experience. I was probably there for about 2 years. Okay. And
did you make more there than you did at Paychex?
Yeah. I remember I made 6 figures there, which at the time.
Was that the first time you made 6 figures?
Yeah. I was like, wow. But here's the thing. When you work for a sales organization, even Amazon or anywhere, once you start making a lot of money, they start working to figure out ways for you not to make that money again. Oh, yeah. So they're constantly changing the comp plan. Well, now you got to do this. Now you've got to, ring this bell 3 times, knock twice, and like all these crazy like things you had to do. So all the metrics changed. And so I got kind of sick of that. Got it. I was like, all right, I do well here. I should be compensated, but this is getting more difficult. Yeah. So
you spent about 2 years there.
Yeah. There's a pattern now. Yeah.
It was like 1.5 years Paychex, 2 years there.
Yeah. That has been the pattern. And literally insurance is the thing that's broken that pattern for me. But after that, I was like, all right, I want to be entrepreneurial. We had moved out to Scottsdale for my husband's job, loved Scottsdale, it was amazing. And I heard about this opportunity through Into Publishing. And so it was like a franchise. They had magazines that you could start in like affluent or mildly affluent neighborhoods. Yeah. And then you would interview the residents, write the articles. So this went back to my journalism, right? It's all tied together. Interview the residents, write the articles, you'd throw events, and you sold the ads. So I would call up the mom and pop stores, set up appointments with them, go meet with them, bring my little, 20-page magazine. Hey, do you want to buy an ad? It was like $500 a month. And that would be your income, and then you would split like 15% with that was like the franchise fee. Okay. So for me, I'm like, this is great. My son was like a toddler. Yeah. And so I did that for about 2 years.
It's like the perfect storm. You had sales experience already. You studied journalism, and now you're running this magazine deal.
Yeah, exactly. And so I really enjoyed it, but I got burnt out after a while because I was doing everything. Yeah. I was calling the clients. I was helping the clients I already had, writing the articles, throwing the parties. I was even taking pictures for the magazine. Sure. So, but
why were you doing it all yourself? Was there not enough money to pay?
Yeah, that was the model, because if you're making $9,000-10,000 a month, or it varied. It could be $7,000 to $10,000. You don't want to hire someone else because then you're making less. Right. So once I realized the cap of that and that it wasn't scalable, I was like, okay, again, I see where this is going. So let's go back to the drawing board.
Was this 2 years too, Mallory?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was about 1.5, 2 years.
Perfect.
Yeah. Then COVID happened.
Yeah.
All the mom and pops, all the little restaurants, and they're great people, but they couldn't survive.
Right.
So I said, well, I'm not going to swim, upriver. I'm gonna just close this magazine down. And I decided to have my last child because I was like, it's COVID. I'll just be pregnant.
Yeah.
Nothing going on anyway. And so made that decision and was pregnant with my daughter. So, then that's about around the time that I found insurance.
Okay. Did you move back to Dallas then? Or?
Yeah. So after COVID, I feel like a lot of people really started evaluating their lives.
Right.
You had a lot of free time.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, okay, do I want to stay in Arizona? We hadn't bought a home yet. The home prices everybody was moving into Arizona. It's a great, beautiful place to live. But I just felt like, I don't know if I want this to be like my forever home. And wherever you raise your kids is kind of where they think is home, even if you think home is somewhere else.
That's why I'm stuck here.
Yeah. So I was like, I really want my kids to feel like Texas is home.
Okay.
I feel like it's a big state. There's a lot of opportunity there. Let's move back to Texas. And my husband was like, no, I don't want to move back. I like the mountains.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, great. Well, I'm moving. You just let me know when you're ready.
Is that sales skill again?
when I decide something, I'm telling you, all it takes is that decision and it's going. And so he eventually was like, now he looks back, he's like, it was a good move because we got our house in Texas. We got a really good interest rate. Thankful for that. But yeah, I just felt like the change was happening, and I think everything was setting me up for where I am now.
Got it. So you got into insurance once you moved back to Texas. Did you know anything about insurance prior to that?
No. I had gotten an insurance policy for my husband when it was a few years ago before I started insurance. Yeah. And I remember saying to him, one day I just thought about it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's really his income is paying everything. If something happens to him, what am I going to do? Like, what would I do? And I was
so at this point, he's working full time. You're raising the kids.
He's working full time. He's always been a career guy.
Yeah.
He worked at Paychex for like 16 years. And yeah, I was doing different things for a year and a half here, a year and a half there, but I was never, it wasn't like a steady thing. And I just realized like, oh my gosh, if something happened to him, what would I do? And then I came to the realization I'd have to move back in with my parents. Ooh. And I was like...
Back in Louisiana?
Yeah, and I was like, that will never happen. So I got an insurance policy. So that was the only real experience I had with insurance. And it was so easy. I purchased it over the phone.
Yeah.
Didn't know the guy. Got a great policy and still have it to this day. So people do buy insurance.
How'd you find him? Did you just fill out something online?
Yeah, it was something online.
So you were a lead.
I was a lead.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I found it through Dave Ramsey. It was like Banner Life, and it was great. Even today, I'm like, that was a really good rate I got.
Yeah.
So,
Got it. So you got him the policy, and then from that point, when did you how'd you go from that to getting your own insurance license?
Yeah. So we moved back to Texas. I was setting up the house. My husband had switched jobs at this point. We had a lot of life changes. I had my daughter who was a baby. I think she was like 5 or 6 months when we moved. Mm-hmm. And I was on Instagram one day. It was like the end of the year, and I love Instagram. Anyone who knows me knows I love Instagram. I'm a millennial. And I saw somebody, I don't want to say who, but he was saying, oh, this opportunity is amazing. Get out of the rat race. I'm going to teach you how to make $300,000 a year. Then I'm going to teach you how to make $300,000. I knew that was going to happen. Then I'm going to teach you how to make $300,000 in a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And he's like, all from home, in your underwear. He's like, if anyone here is making less than $10,000 a month, you're not living. And I'm like, he's right. I'm not living. I'm not living. I'm ready to live. So that was literally all I had to hear. I was like, what? I can do this from home. I can be here with my kids. I don't have to drive all over town. I was thinking about every job experience I've ever had, the good, the bad. And the thing about it, I was, in my 30s, I won't say if it was early or mid or late, but being in my 30s, I had done a lot of things, and everything you do builds on itself.
Right.
And so I was just at a place like, I didn't like that. I don't want to do that again. No, I'm not going back to that. I don't want to work in office. And I'm like, wait, this has everything all in one. And I'm like, we're going to do this. So that's how I found it.
So you got your license.
got my license, studied at my kitchen island. My daughter was right next to me. It was literally like this, and she's next to me, and I just studied. Finished it in like
what was
2
it
weeks.
like? Because you never went in the home with us, right? You're always over the phone. Was it virtual, like Zoom, or straight up telesales?
Straight up telesales. It was post-COVID. Thank God I could do it over the phone. I remember we had a crew that all started at the same time because we all saw that same Instagram.
Okay.
We all got on the same podcast, and we all signed up. And we just had this crew of people. We believed in it so much, and it was so fun working with people that all started at the same time. And everyone had these great personalities. We were all alike because we were driven. We were entrepreneurial. We had grit, and we just had fun. And so we would get on Zoom, and we would just burn those phones up.
Yeah.
And I stood out because I was a mom. I wasn't in my 20s, you know, but my biggest thing, I was like, these young guys are not going to show me up. And they always underestimated me. Yeah. Maybe they didn't. I thought they did. You know, I had a chip on my shoulder, but I was like, I'm going to show them. And I remember a few different people being like, you know, oh, well, you're a mom, or, oh, you know, I'd say something about my kids, and they're like, well, nobody's making you do this, or, you know, we would all vent, and they would just make little comments, which it was fine what they said, but it's like those things fueled me because I wanted to show them, oh, you thought I was just some little mom. I'm going to show you.
Were you always competitive?
No, I don't think so. This insurance really brought it out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Brought the fire out.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny. I heard you talking earlier, and you said that when you first started, you were so shy that you wouldn't even turn your camera on Zoom. So you're like in a group meeting with training, or you guys are all dialing together and you'd have your camera off?
It wasn't it was more the training. Because we would have like 300 people on, and I was having a lot of success right off the bat. And they'd be like, Mallory, let's role play. I hate role playing. And I'm like, I'm good on the phone, but it's an actual conversation. You want me to pretend? I didn't like that. So I would turn my camera off in the beginning. I remember being really nervous, but slowly, you know, I overcame that limiting belief because your success speaks for yourself, and you got to just get over it.
Absolutely.
You know?
So I don't know if you knew this, but, well, you know this. You've been here since 2022. You are in the top 100 all-time at FFL as far as life producers go. And we have, since we've started, Mallory, close to 100,000 agents that have at least written one policy and got paid on that. So you've been here for, 2.5 years, and you're already in that top 200, which is fun. You think about day one where you were, or even what you're saying, I didn't want to be on camera, but you're in the top 200 of all time.
I didn't know that. It's really weird. Like, that's awesome, but I never feel that like, oh, I'm so good, or I'm one of the best. I don't feel that. I don't know why. It just never really sinks in. I just have high standards for myself. I still feel like I haven't reached that.
Yeah.
And I think that goes back to just not being complacent. It'd be easy to just say like, okay, that's enough. I'm good enough.
Right.
But it's like always pushing, growing, because I want to get everything out of this opportunity that I can get, because it just goes back to that gratitude of the fact that this even exists. Like, why wouldn't you maximize it, you know?
Absolutely.
My upline, Mansour, he always says gratitude is results. And I think about that a lot. If you're truly grateful for the opportunity, you're going to produce results, and you're going to get the most out of it that you can get. So
absolutely. And the other big piece, like, you have 2 kids that are watching everything you do. And I heard you talking earlier about your son. Is it true that he, like, checks you? Like, how many policies did you sell today, Mom?
Yeah, so every day when he's going to school, my husband, we have a deal where I get them ready for school, and then my husband drives them to school. So we partner on that. And when I kiss him goodbye, he'll say, hey, Mom, I hope you make 4 sales today. Usually it's 4. And I'm like, all right, maybe I can do that. I think I can do that. But some days he'll stretch it to 7, or there's days where he's like, I hope you make 12.
Yeah.
And then when he comes home around 3:30. When I get a break, I'll say, oh, I made, he'll ask me, or I'll tell him. And so it's awesome, because I think it's so important, especially not just moms, dads too, because dads take, it's not just motherhood. It's fathers do a lot too. But it's when you're doing your work, don't just shut yourself off in an office and, in the back of the house, and share what you're doing. Share your wins, your successes, your challenges. Share your journey with your family. Let them be a part of it, because then you're sharing those wins, and your family should never feel separate from what you're doing. And I think that was the old style of doing things. And we talk about this journey together. And I think the thing is my kids never feel like I'm choosing it over them because, you know, hey, if I'm able to do this, we could go to Disney or we can go on this trip or do that. Now, my son has watched me. He's a lot more, he understands because he's older, but my daughter's she's just spoiled. Yeah. I mean, she's living.
She's how old, too?
She's going to be 4 in November.
4.
She'll be
He's
4.
8. She's
so spoiled because, you know, it's like the more success I have, the more I'm like, oh, you want a princess dress? You want a crown? You want... Yeah. And so now I'm having to dial it back.
Oh, yeah. That's the hard part because then, like, you say no and it shocks them. Like,
yeah.
And it'd be something stupid. You're in a store, like, can I get this mini brand? No. Why? I don't even know why, but just because you got everything else. Like, you got to have some type of balance.
Exactly. And I tell my kids, I remember when I was a kid, we would shop at Kmart and Walmart. Mm-hmm. And the clothes that I wanted, my mom would put it on layaway. Because we didn't have money growing up.
Right.
And so, like most people, that's not a sob story. It's just most people didn't grow up with money.
Big fan of layaway as a kid.
Yeah, we had layaway. And I remember I had this outfit on layaway. It was so ugly. It was lime green, but that was the style in the 90s. And we went back and I said, Mom, we have to get my outfit, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, no, we're not going to get it. And I have those memories and I remember not getting those things, which is fine. It's okay. I don't have to get everything. But I think I overcompensate now where I want to give my kids everything. But then you realize they don't appreciate it.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They just want more and more.
My son went through this Pokemon phase, and it was like we bought him so much Pokemon, and these sets are like $10 to $50. And then one day we cleaned out his room, and he's like, yeah, I don't want all that. And it was boxes of Pokemon, and they went to Goodwill.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, no more. Yep. So it's finding that balance. And sometimes when you're younger, going through those things of not having things and, you know, having those limitations financially makes you work harder when you're older because it's just that.
Yeah, but I'm with you. It's almost like you kind of overcorrect because you want to give them everything you didn't have, and then you're like, wait, that's a little too much.
Oh, yeah.
They have to know how to be without some things.
Yeah.
Funny, I remember during 2020 when, you know, everything was going crazy. Kids were at home, and my son and daughter, they would have been, 4 years ago? So they would have been 8 and 10. They were big into Fortnite. To the point where every week they were like extorting me for money. Like they needed their V-Bucks. Like I'm going to work to pay for your V-Bucks every week. Like $25 to each of them every single week for nothing. Now I incorporated some chores, so they still get the same. But like my son's got to take out the trash, my daughter's got to take care of the dishes. But back then I'm like I'm working, coming home to pay for their Fortnite bill.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
But what are you gonna do?
It's kids need to learn grit, they need to learn resiliency, and they need to learn earning it. And that's the thing is we have to give them that opportunity to do that. And I've realized that too. I'm a little bit harder on my son because he's older, but I'm like, go do this, go do that, go do this. But then I don't mind giving to him after. But my she's just a total diva. Yeah. So I'm working through that. But I tell them, I was like, I remember when I was a kid, every Sunday we would go out to eat after church, but we ate at Piccadilly. Have you ever heard of Piccadilly?
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh my God. It was a cafeteria, and it's just like the places we ate, the things we did, the vacations we went to were at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
We thought the Holiday Inn was the Ritz, and that was like my best memory growing up. And now with my kids, it's like the places they go, the stuff they do, it's crazy. But I'm thankful that my husband and I are in a position where we can provide those things. I know that sounds, trite, but it's like, that's what drives me to work is my family. And also I like nice things too.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. But I think, the thing about it is it takes hard work to get there. It's not like this was just handed to you. But you work from home, right?
Yeah.
All this insurance we're talking, I mean, this year so far or through October, you're over 500,000 sold, 523 and change. So that means obviously you do the math on whatever commission level you're at, you're able to provide for your family. But imagine what you'd have to do. You've been at other jobs, sales, marketing, what you'd have to do at a place like that to have these same results.
When you work at a W-2 job or a corporate America, they're only going to let you make so much. You're never going to do better than the guy above you.
Right.
And there's only one spot above you, and it's already taken, and then the spot above that. And when you start to wake up to that and see how the system works, why would I put all my energy playing this is just my belief. My husband's in corporate America and he likes it. He says, I never could do what you do. But for me, I'm not going to put all my energy to being capped. I am going to, some months and some weeks, I have more energy than others to put into insurance. I'm going to put it into something where I was thinking about this the other day. There's no middleman.
Right.
There's no middleman. I write Americo policies. I get paid by Americo. Mm-hmm. I write an AIG or a Aetna or, whatever your carrier du jour is. What everyone has their favorites. Let's all be honest.
Yep.
But I get paid directly by them, and then I determine how much I make. And, when you said that number, 520, whatever, I'm like, oh, that's not that much. Like, I feel like it's not a lot.
What are you going to finish this year at?
So my goal was 800,000.
Okay. All right.
So we're
going to hold you to that. Yeah, so you get a few months left. It's not crazy.
I told Sean Mike that on stage because he went around with the mic and said, what's everybody going to do? And I said, 800,000. And he was like, okay, 800,000. So that's my goal.
When was that? Was that a convention?
Yeah, convention. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, on the stage when we all went up there for the Hall of Fame thing. So.
And you're already a 2-time Hall of Famer.
This year is my second, yeah. The first year I just did 225. So last year and this year.
Just two. It's funny is back when I started, 10 years ago, got my license. It was like 2011. Writing 200,000 would put you in the top 10 of the company for the year. It's crazy. But you think about how much this industry has evolved. So you're working from home, selling life insurance from home. We were driving, hours this way, hours that way, meeting with people, paper applications. Now everything's electronic. Just for people watching, there's a lot of people watching that are not in the industry yet. And can you just kind of paint that picture of what it's like to be able to do all of this from home?
Okay, first of all, this is the best time to be in the insurance industry post-COVID. Are you kidding me? I think about it, and I've said to people before, if this was still where you an industry where you had to drive around and go to people's houses, I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. Yeah, because I don't want to drive around and go in strangers' houses. I don't want to do it.
Right.
The fact that we can do it from home, it goes back to that gratitude of that this even exists, that I can kiss my kids goodbye in the morning, go upstairs, sit at my desk, help 3 or 4 families, whatever. Sometimes it's just 1 or 2. Wake up in the morning, have a commissions commissions report statement emailed to me saying, this is what you're going to get in your bank tomorrow, and then get that the next day. Do some work on Monday and get paid on Wednesday. And then the fact that I was home when my son came home and my daughter came home and I kissed them. I didn't have to fight traffic. I didn't have to deal with people I didn't like. I mean, sometimes the clients can be a little, but it's a choice. I don't have to work with them. So I don't want to focus too much on the money,
Right.
Because we're doing a service. But I'm saying the opportunity is just so amazing right now. What I would tell everybody is it's absolutely hard. They're not. People come in, I see it all the time, and they just think the money's going to be handed to them because the people that are doing well, we make it look easy. But it's because I went all in that first year. I put my head down, and I was just like, this is my focus. Outside of my kids, and maybe even my husband got pushed to the side a little bit, but he was fine with it. But I was like, my kids and this. That's it.
Right.
That is it. And you can ask any of my family or friends. That was it for that year. If you can literally just make that decision and just put your head down and work, you will get what you need out of this opportunity.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
But it's a great point. You have to put in the work, a lot of it. And it is not for everyone. Like this is, there's a lot of people watching that have never sold insurance. And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of you watching that probably won't be able to do this. And that's fine. But there's probably a few that could. You got to be willing to sell out. You got to be willing to really become self-aware because you have to get better. If you have success here, it's because of you. And if you don't, it's also because of you. And that's sometimes hard for people to deal with because, like you talked about corporate America, it's easy to go, hey, the guy up there is holding me down. You might be right. Here, you can't say that because it's all on you. It's how often are you going to get on the phone? Are you going to do training? Are you going to get better? Are you going to screw some stuff up and then learn how to fix it? Like you have to go through that learning curve as well. How long did it take you to feel like you were comfortable on the phones to where you could consistently sell?
Oh man, there were just different levels. I felt like I was spiraling up, if that makes sense. I looked at some past, I don't know if it was on Instagram or Telegram or somewhere, but I saw someone congratulating me for selling $30K within my first 3 months. So within my first 3 months, I had a month that I sold $30,000.
Okay.
And I think that was AP. I don't remember if it was IP, but I was like, oh, wow, that was pretty good. I didn't realize I did that. And then it just went up. But the thing about sales is you'll reach a new level and you'll have an awesome month and then you'll go backwards.
Right.
And then that's when the mindset comes in of, okay, now what are you going to do? Are you going to quit? Because it's so up and down. I mean, July was my best month ever.
Really?
I shocked myself, and then the month after sucked.
How much did you sell in July?
It wasn't just what I sold; it was what I made. I don't want to
say, that's fine.
But it was a lot of money.
I
was like, whoa. I think I IP'd. It was like 69 or 70.
Okay.
I think.
And what'd you do the following month?
I don't remember. I should have wrote that down, but it wasn't as much.
Got it.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But, it is up and down. And the thing is, when I look back, I was always spiraling up. You think of spiraling down, it's like you're going through the same problems, but as you get, it's not that it gets easier, you get better. You've heard that before, but it's like I'm going through the same problems, but they don't bother me as much because I know that I'm going to handle it better this time. And then you just have a faith and you just have an understanding that it's going to be okay. You just have to protect your mindset and be consistent. And that's what I see the most with new agents is they get really excited. They're used to someone telling them what to do. They think I'm going to call them every morning and say, hey, get out of bed, sleepyhead. Come get on Zoom. I'm waiting for you.
Yep.
And I'm not because I'm busy, because I'm selling. I have clients and I have a family. But if you get on Zoom, I'm right here for you. And I'll tell you anything you need to know. So they're used to having a boss. And when they have those bad months, they get discouraged and they quit because they don't really have a faith that this can work for them. The other thing I say to new agents is, do you like this? Do you like talking to people on the phone about insurance? I like it. I truly like it.
You do, really?
I really like it.
What do you like about it so much?
I'm good at it. I know. I feel like the conversation's a dance.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to think on your feet. And have this dance with them. And if you win the dance or you're good at the dance, you get rewarded. I don't know. I think it's fun. If you like talking to people, if you're I don't want to say debate. It's not like a debate, but I just see some people that just come here to make money.
Right.
That's only going to get you so far.
Yeah, they don't last.
If you hate it every day, you're going to be like, no amount of money is going to, even if you make 20, 30K a month, you're going to be like, oh, I got to do this again.
Right.
But again, I don't get the Sunday scaries. I don't dread work. There's days that I'm drained. There's days I'm tired. Every day's not like I'm, superwoman. But overall, I like what I do. And I get excited when I have a full day of appointments. And I think if you can like what you do, you don't have to love it. That's the biggest thing. Because you got to love the process, not just the end result.
Right. You got 2 kids. You work a lot. Do you ever feel any guilt, like I'm spending so much time away from my kids? Because especially early on, it's a grind. We were talking before we got on, and my first, or when our first daughter was born, I was selling full time and working in the office full time, and I never saw her. And there was times I'd pick her up, and she'd look like, "Who the hell's this guy?" Now, fast forward, everything's fine, we have a great relationship. But that first year, well, it was hard. Do you ever feel any sense of guilt when you're spending so much time working?
I've gone through different periods where I'm sad because I went through one recently because my daughter's turning 4 and she's so big now. I go through periods where I get sad because, that part of their childhood's over. Yeah. The truth is, I think I would feel that way whether I was with them every moment or I wasn't, because that stage is going to end no matter if you spent every moment with them or you didn't. But guilt, no. I think what I've done has set them up for a better future. Everything I'm doing is for a purpose. Yeah. I'm trying to set my family up financially for the long term. So it's a short-term sacrifice for the long term. Mm-hmm. But I do want to say another reason I don't have guilt is because I didn't make my work a priority and not my family. My family was a priority too. I cut out everything else.
Yeah.
That's key. I wasn't going out with my girlfriends and going having, wine night with the girlies, or I wasn't doing this and that. I wasn't working out. I wasn't going to the gym for a short period, which wasn't hard, by the way. But I'm just saying, I have a really good relationship with my kids. I never let those relationships dip, I guess is the word.
Yeah.
Like I said, I brought my family with me. I shared everything with them so that they can see it as a win when I win. And my son has told me, he's like, mom's my role model. I'm proud of my mom. He's proud of his dad
That's
too.
awesome. Yeah.
But it's like the entrepreneurial life is so much different than the W-2 life. So he sees the struggles and challenges. And I honestly think it's made us a stronger family. And our family's very active, I guess you would say. Like we prioritize our relationships with each other, even though the kids are young, but we go do fun stuff. And another tip I have for parents and especially moms is always have something fun planned with your family that you're looking forward to. Like, hey, we're going to work this week, but this weekend we're going to all go and do X, Y, Z.
Right.
And so if you always have that thing planned, it's not humdrum. It's like, okay, we're going to do X on the weekend. And so I always carve that time around what we're going to do. And if there's something that comes up with my kids, I don't work that day, and I go read to her preschool or go to her Halloween parades this week. So I blocked off time. So it's just about being present and making the time you have quality time.
Yeah, I think that's huge. It's the quality over the quantity, right? Like I growing up, I knew kids, the parents were home every day, but they're broke as shit. So it's almost like it'd be better if you weren't here. When I was, my parents worked all the time and we were broke. So we had I guess the worst of both sides. But if you do, like to your point, if you plan things and do things that are of quality, then those times when you're working, and also if you do it around your kids, they understand why. It's easy to go, hey, yeah, I'm doing this now, but we're going to be going to wherever in a week or 2 weeks. But I think too, people a lot of times they refuse to eliminate the other distractions, and I think they use their families as an excuse.
Yeah.
It's like, that may be true, but what about all the picnics you went to, or the cookout, or hanging out with the boys, or whatever the case may be? They are apprehensive to let that stuff go because, well, I need my fun time. Well, it's not fun being broke. That's what Sean used to say to us all. He'd come in the office, everyone would be laughing, and he'd start losing his shit. What the hell's so funny about being broke? It's like, actually nothing, but we have the opportunity here to change that. But you got to be willing to put that work in. You got to be willing to go above and beyond because, again, it is not for everyone.
And that's the thing that I think I'm showing my children. I mean, time will tell, in 18 years when my son's on a podcast and he's like, my mom was working, I'm sure he won't say that. But showing them that if you don't like the situation in life, well, you're in the United States of America. There's tons of opportunity.
Right.
Pick one, go hard, and change things. You don't have to accept the status quo. I could have been a stay-at-home mom, and my husband wanted me to work. He was like, you need to get into something. But I could have said, no, I want to just be home for the next 5 years. But what would the vibe had been like at home if we didn't have enough money? Things were tight. Debt wasn't getting paid off. And, would I have been as good of a mom as I am now? At least now I'm fulfilled. I'm full of energy, that fire. Yeah. And every day, I wake up at 6:30 in the morning without an alarm, and I'm ready to go. And I'm excited for everything I have to do that day. And again, I have my bad days. I'm not perfect. Ask anybody on Zoom. They're like, some days Mallory gets on here and she's in a bad mood. But most days, I'm fired up for my life. I love my life. And I think I'm setting the right, I think I'm setting the right example for my kids.
Absolutely. So. How do you get through the bad days?
Wine.
That's an answer. That works.
Is it wine time yet? No. How do I get through the bad days? Usually the bad days are just, it's a bad day if I don't make a sale. Yeah. If I don't help a family, it's a bad day. And it's just, you're constantly having chatter in your head. Mm-hmm. You're constantly talking to yourself. Some of you have many voices in your head talking to yourself, but for most people, you're talking to yourself. And what are you telling yourself every day? So if I start going down that negative talk spiral, it's stopping it, going back to the gratitude, going back to the goals. I'm a big vision board person. And I know some people think that's cheesy. I don't care. It works for me.
Well, usually broke people think that's cheesy.
Yeah. I have like 3 vision boards right now. I have a financial one. I have like a travel one. And I just look at that. And when you look at your goals, you get back into gear. Another reason I have a bad day is sometimes I just get drained from talking to people all day, because I'm talking to people on the phone about insurance. Then I'm helping my team who has a lot of questions. Newbies have a lot of questions. And then when I'm done with that, I'm talking to my kids. And you can only give so much. You've got to, kind of fill yourself back up. So podcasts, YouTubes, taking a hot bath, drinking wine. That's what gets me through.
Okay. Going back to, I guess, I say redefining your associations, right? Because I've heard this years ago when I first got into insurance. If you take everyone has a different take the 5 people, 3 people, whatever, that you spend the most time with, average their salaries, and that's yours. When you decided to take this serious, put your family first, no pun intended, put your company for your sales career first, did you get any backlash from the people that you kind of separated from? Like, did you get that call, Mallory, we're going out, how come you're not joining us anymore, or any kind of pushback?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I think people overall supported me, but they didn't understand. Wait, you're going to do something that's commissions only? Right. Commissions only? To me, commissions only means you're going to make more money. That's what that says to me. But for a lot of people that are in the W-2 style of work, or the, climb the ladder line of work, they don't understand. And the thing that I had to realize is, like, who cares?
Right.
That was one of the biggest lessons, is stop caring what people think, because they're not paying your bills.
Exactly.
And the more that you believe in something and it just becomes a part of who you are, they're just going to accept that. They're going to respect it. So I didn't want to post a lot on Instagram at first. Then I started saying, forget it. I'm just going to be who I am and share it. And so I've shared my journey on Instagram. I've made a lot of friends on Instagram that have followed me from the beginning. A lot of people reach out to me. So another funny thing is, my husband, when I started, he's like, that sounds like a scam. That's a scam. And I remember saying, no, it's not a scam. It's not. And I, that's a normal reaction.
Absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with having that reaction. People are looking out for you. But I remember saying, I know it's not a scam. Just watch what I do. Just give me some time. And he doesn't think it's a scam anymore.
No.
He doesn't think it's a scam anymore.
And I bet a lot of the people that may have, criticized now are probably reaching out going, what are you doing? It's normally what happens. It's like, at first she's crazy. It's never going to work. Yeah. She's getting some commission. She can't do that, blah, blah. Then a year goes by and they're like, oh, shit. Hey, what are you doing? You guys hiring?
So the funniest thing is, I got into it. My sister got into it. We love it. We think she's always like, I'm so grateful you told me about this.
Yeah.
I'm so like.
So you recruited your sister?
Yeah. She came in really at the same time as me, but she took a little bit longer to get going. But she's killing it now. My sister's Kendall Clark.
Oh, that's your sister? Okay.
Yeah, that's my sister. Yeah, and she's about to blow up. So you'll have her on here, I'm sure of it.
All right.
But I brought her on. We love it. We have so much gratitude for it. And then my mom got her license. She didn't really do anything. She does real estate. It's fine.
Yeah.
We didn't think she was going to do anything.
Okay.
And then my dad got laid off from his company. Yeah. And then he said, hey, move over. I'm coming in.
Wow.
And to me, that was the craziest thing, because I never tried to recruit him. I never, said anything about it to him. He worked for Bayer. He was a corporate guy, but he said he was sick of corporate. He did his whole life there, and this is so attractive to people that did it the other way, and maybe it didn't work out the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, I think it's attracted to anyone too that has an open mind. But if you don't, it does sound too good to be true. Like, I understand why people say, I understand why people go, that's probably a scam, that's not going to work. Like, I heard it, years ago when my dad sees, this sounds like some type of scheme. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, seems to be working all right.
Yeah.
But when you think about, especially now, what we do is people go online, they request information on life insurance. A lot of people have systems where they book their own appointments, right? Or they have a dialer, or maybe you're dialing yourself. You're sitting at home talking to someone for, how long's your average appointment? 30 minutes, 45?
I'd say 45 minutes to an hour.
You talk to someone for 45 minutes to an hour, you help them out with an insurance policy, and you're paid within a day or two. And you can do that as many times as you want.
And it's addictive.
Yeah.
When you get good at it, when you actually have a skill, I have a skill that gives me a lot of confidence that I'm always going to be able to make money in the future no matter what. But when you're good at it, it's addictive.
Yeah.
It is fun and it's addictive. And when you're going, you know, when you have those streaks, we all know those streaks when you're just selling. I'm like, oh my God, this is so great. But then you'll have a bad streak too. So just hold on, it's coming.
But since you're addicted, you can't stop.
Yeah,
it's a lot of worse things. Yeah, there's a lot of worse things to be addicted to.
Yeah, it's a good addiction.
You stay at the casino, a lot of people are addicted there. But no, that it is. It's crazy when you think about what we're able to do, what we have the ability to do. But it's also one of those things where not everybody can. I think that's what makes it so special. Like, you have to be a certain type of person to do this. You don't have to have sales experience at all, but you have to have, this has to be right. You have to be a self-starter. Like, no one's, you know, I love Gary Vee. You ever see his stuff online? But I saw a video the other day where it's probably one of his older ones, but like, he's just going on this rant of nobody's going to save you. Nobody's coming to save. And that's kind of it's perfect, you know, statement for this business. No one's coming to save you. Like you talked about your agent, your recruiting. You're not going to get on the phone every day and go, hey, dude, you out of bed? You got to do that yourself.
And I had that realization that nobody was coming to save me because if I hadn't have gotten, my husband and I got into kind of some, like a bad financial situation prior to COVID.
Yeah.
And if we had just stayed with the money that he was making, if he was the only provider, or really the person making the most of the money, it was going to take us forever to get out of that situation. And so that's why he was kind of like, hey, you need to get back to work. You need to get back to work. And I knew I did because I'm someone who takes that responsibility on. And so having that realization of no one's coming to save me, not even my husband. I think a lot of women think, oh, that's his job. He can do it. But I didn't want to leave that up to him because I knew I could do it. And we've made huge strides since doing that. But there's something beautiful about taking control of your life and realizing no one's coming to save you. And the other word that I would put out there is grit, because that's what my husband, so my husband works from home. He works downstairs and I'm upstairs, and he hears most of my calls, which I like because he'll give me like critiques. And sometimes I'll be like, shut up. But he'll give me critiques. Usually he compliments me. He's like, wow, you're really good. I'd hire you. You're really good. And I'm like, you can't hire me. But the thing he always says is, you've got a lot of grit. So I would encourage people to develop grit. Yeah. That's even when things look terrible. You don't feel like you're making traction. You're gonna make this work for you. You're gonna go through that hard stuff and develop that grit muscle. And if you have grit already, you should, if you're like a car salesman or a lot of those jobs, you're already in sales, insurance is an amazing next step.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you done a lot of podcasts?
No.
No?
I just did one.
This is your first one? Oh, this is your second one?
I did one, but I was on the computer, not in person.
Okay.
Why?
Well, this is really good.
Oh,
you look
really?
nervous. Yeah, like this is really good. No, good work.
Good.
So
keep that in, by the way.
Yeah. We like to wrap with some stuff. Mallory, has nothing to do with life insurance, so I got a few questions, just some fun. And if you don't like these, just blame Precious because she created all of them. Let's see. You said you like nice things, so how about this one? What's a purchase that you made that you immediately regretted?
Oh, I thought you were going to say since I started insurance. A purchase I made that I immediately regretted. I don't really regret my purchases.
Okay.
I don't know, but I can tell you one of the best things I've bought since I started in insurance was I won a trip from Aria, my agency, to go to Paris in May. Went to Paris, was a total pinch me moment. I've been to Paris before, but it was like a decade ago, and I bought a Dior bag.
Nice.
I can't even say the word. Champs-Élysées.
Okay.
Is that how you say it?
I have no idea. You're asking the wrong person.
Same. I bought a Dior bag, and that was like a wow, I made it in the insurance moment because I'm in Paris buying this designer bag. But I did not regret that. I did not regret that purchase.
I like how you flip that though.
Yeah. I thought that's what you were gonna ask, but keep going.
Well, we'll edit that in post. Do you have any hidden talents that most people aren't aware of?
Oh my gosh. I'm a good whistler.
Really? Okay.
I don't know.
Do you have a favorite movie?
My favorite movie is Vanilla Sky.
Really?
I love that movie. Yeah, it's weird.
I'm a lot more intrigued.
I just blew you away.
Yeah, Vanilla Sky. Really?
Yeah, favorite movie.
Favorite movie.
Very favorite.
Why?
Vanilla Sky. Because it kind of bends your mind on reality.
Yeah, a little bit.
yeah, and I think that people are so set in their reality. They think this is the way it is. It can't change, but everything can change for you at any moment. So I saw that movie so long ago, but it really stayed with me. I was obsessed with it. Love Tom Cruise, Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
And my last name is Cruz, which is not related, but
completely different spelling.
Yeah. But I love Vanilla Sky, Pretty Woman, but that's silly. And then I love Crazy Rich Asians.
Really? Wow, it's quite the range there. Okay.
I love that movie.
Well, this is very, very, very good. Thank you for coming up. Really appreciate that. Let everybody know who's watching where they could find you on social if they want to join your team. What platform, what handle?
Yes. So I'm very active on Instagram. I share my day-to-day, my wins, everything. My Instagram handle is at the Mallory Kroos. Kroos is spelled Kroos. I'm not on TikTok. I don't really do Facebook. But yeah, I would love it if everyone followed me there. I love to make connections in the industry and just support people because we're all going through it together. And it's honestly an honor to be here. I remember when I first started seeing all the people that were really successful at FFL and seeing them on Instagram and podcasts and all over the place. And then to be here now is just like a full circle moment. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, you earned it. We don't put anyone in that seat that isn't good at what they do. You have, from the day you started with us, you've sold over 1.1 million in life premium. Wow. So congratulations on that. Congratulations on hitting the Hall of Fame again. And I believe you'll be at 800 before the end of the year. So we're going to hold you to it. You said it on stage and you said it here. So you can't not do it now if that makes any sense.
The pressure.
Right? Well, thanks again, guys. Thanks for tuning in. You know where to find us every week right here on True Talk. We'll see you next week.